Are you following a bunch of financial experts struggling to apply their advice to your financial situation and finding that your paycheck is still disappearing every payday? Well, the truth is, I'd have never broken free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle if I listened to even half of the advice I found out there. So in this video, I'm giving you 3 crucial steps that will help you escape the cycle for good. Because when you have the right strategy, you can start making real progress with your money. I'm Rose Colburn, and over the last several years, I've helped a lot of people take control of their money with real, BS-free financial insights so they can create a life they truly love. From the moment we earned our first paycheck, we were told that the key to financial success is working harder, sacrificing more, and stashing away a bunch of money in a savings account until retirement. And while having a financial safety net is important, which I cover in another video linked below, it's not enough to break free from this cycle. So if hard work and sacrifice and savings alone aren't the real solution, what is? Most people assume they're living paycheck to paycheck because they don't make enough money. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it's not about how much you earn, it's about how you handle your paycheck. And that's why breaking free from this cycle starts with a reset. There are 2 different stages when it comes to breaking free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle. And the right approach depends on where you are right now with your finances. If you're struggling to cover your essentials, you're in the survival stage. Your focus needs to be on stabilizing your finances and creating some breathing room. If you're making enough to cover expenses, but somehow your paycheck keeps disappearing, you're in the growth stage. Here, your focus is on redirecting your money to build real financial security. In the survival stage, your first step is making sure you cover the essentials first. This includes rent, mortgage, utilities, food, insurance, medical expenses, and transportation. Then pay yourself next by starting to build or increasing your freedom fund, even if it's just a small amount each paycheck. For the growth stage, your first step is the opposite. You start by paying yourself first. This means setting up automations to create, build, or grow your freedom fund, your purposeful savings, and your retirement accounts. These automatic transfers should come out of every paycheck before you do anything else, so you don't have to think about them. Then, once you've paid yourself first, you move on to covering your essential expenses. Now, for both stages, your third step involves managing your spending. If you're in the survival stage, this means cutting unnecessary costs and avoiding new debt while you work towards financial stability. If you're in the growth stage, your focus shifts to setting intentional spending limits, making sure you know where your money is going and creating a reasonable budget for your discretionary spending. No matter what stage you're in, the key is progress. In the survival stage, you're working to create breathing room, so you're no longer trapped in financial stress. In the growth stage, you're shifting towards long-term financial security by making your money work for you. Both paths lead to financial freedom, but the steps you take will depend on where you are right now. Once you reset how you handle your paycheck, you'll start creating a little more breathing room. But there's one thing that can still keep you stuck, and that's debt. If you're making payments each month and barely seeing any progress, it can feel like you'll never get ahead. But tackling debt doesn't have to make you feel broke all the time. So here's how to do it in a way that actually works. There are 2 popular debt payoff methods that most people use when working to become debt-free. Which one will work for you is going to depend on not only the type of debt you have, but also your goals and your personal preferences. So let's talk about these 2 methods. The first is the debt snowball, which is where you pay off your smallest debts first, regardless of interest rates. The idea is to build momentum by getting quick wins. Every time you pay off a small debt, you feel a sense of accomplishment and motivation to keep going. With the debt avalanche method, you pay off your highest interest debt first to minimize the amount of interest you pay over time. This method saves you the most money in the long run, but it can take longer to see any progress since your biggest debts might take more time to pay off. So which one should you choose? If you have low interest debt across the board and staying motivated is your biggest challenge, the debt snowball can help you stay engaged and committed as you watch your balances disappear. But here's where a lot of people go wrong. If you start with the snowball method without considering your interest rates, you might actually cost yourself far more money in the long run. For example, let's say you have a $200 medical bill at 0% interest and a credit card with a $5,000 balance at 28% interest. If you focus on the $200 debt first, you might feel good about knocking it out, but meanwhile, your credit card is racking up hundreds of dollars of interest while you're celebrating that small win. At the end of the day, that quick win might actually cost you more than it's worth. In my coaching program, I have a debt payoff calculator that compares both methods side by side so you can see which one will get you out of debt the fastest. But if you're tackling this on your own, here's a simple rule of thumb to follow. If you have high interest debt that's above, say, 10 to 15%, the avalanche method is usually the smarter financial choice. This will save you more money over time and get you out of debt faster. If your debts have similar interest rates or you need motivation to stay on track, the debt snowball method might work well. And remember, this isn't an all or nothing approach. You can start with the avalanche for high interest debts, then switch to the snowball to make progress with your remaining balances once you're not focusing so much on the interest that you're paying. Debt payoff is important, but let's be real. Getting out of debt alone doesn't automatically mean financial freedom. If you don't create a gap between what you earn and what you're spending, you'll always feel like you're treading water. This gap, the difference between your income and your expenses, is what actually allows you to move forward. The bigger this gap is, the faster you can save, pay off debt, and start enjoying financial freedom. And there are only two ways to increase this gap. One is to cut back, but to do it intentionally. Now, when I say cut back, I don't mean extreme frugality where you're living on rice and beans and can't enjoy life. That kind of restriction is exactly what makes people give up on their financial goals altogether. Instead, this is about eliminating financial leaks, those little expenses that aren't adding value to your life, but are quietly draining your bank account. Maybe you've got a streaming service that you barely use, a gym membership that you signed up for with the best of intentions, but haven't been to in months, or those random impulse purchases that seem small in the moment, but add up fast. The easiest way to find these leaks is to take a look at your last few months of transactions in your bank statement and ask yourself, am I actually using this? Do I even care about this anymore? And if the answer is no, that's money you can put to better use. And the best part, you don't have to give up everything you enjoy. Cutting back doesn't mean eliminating all fun spending. It just means making sure your money is going to the things that truly matter to you. And the second way is to earn more. Cutting back and saving money is great, but if your goal is to build real financial freedom, you can only cut back so much. Eventually, the real game changer is simply increasing your income. And this does not mean you have to work 80 hours a week or sacrifice all your free time. But if you're serious about breaking this cycle, then finding ways to bring in extra money, whether that's through freelancing, gig work, starting a side business, or even just finding a way to earn more money where you currently work or through another company, can make a huge difference in how fast you can move forward. Even an extra $200 to $500 a month can completely change your financial situation. And when you put that extra money towards your goals, rather than just spending it, that's when you start to see real progress. The key is to find what works for you, whether that's cutting out your financial leaks, earning more, or maybe even both. Because once you create extra money each month, you can put that money to work towards savings, debt payoff, and financial freedom. And that's how you break the paycheck to paycheck cycle for good. Making progress doesn't have to involve huge steps all at once. Take 10 minutes to review your last month's transactions and find at least one financial leak that you can cut out or reduce. Then decide what to do with that extra money, whether it's putting it towards your freedom fund, paying off debt, or investing it for future growth. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. Even if you only free up 20 to 50 bucks this month, that's the first step towards creating the financial gap that you need to move forward. Escaping the paycheck to paycheck cycle isn't about luck. It's about following the right strategy, something most of us were never taught before we even earned our first paycheck. But here's the deal. Even if you start increasing your income, it won't make you rich. Watch this video to learn what mistakes you must avoid. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.